Hello, everyone, from beautiful Racine, Wisconsin. Very unfortunate that I'm not able to be in Georgia for opening day of our baseball regular season. Uh, but I'm glad to be up here in Racine, seeing my coworkers for referee and getting to hang out with the team. It's they told me today's the first day all year it's been above freezing, and that's just not great, not great for me. But anyways. I wanted to look through a game from last weekend, watch the crew work. I thought there were some things that we could work on. So wanted to point those out and just go through the clips. I've already cut them. We'll go from there. So let's get started. So I thought this was just a good job by our base umpire here. Um, Let me turn this volume down for myself. There we go. Now I can think. Uh, off the bat, or well, not off the bat, but good job of stepping directly to the bag, and he does a pretty good job of getting set and stopped for the play here. Um, for our plate umpire, this is a called strike. For plate umpires, that's fine. I would say like on a strike like this, yeah, definitely hold it out longer to be a clean signal. He does a good job here of staying with his head facing forward as well. Not as big of a deal here because there's no swing and he's left-handed. But, if he's right-handed and coming across the plate, we need to be able to see that. So good job staying eyes forward to see the play. So this is a deep fly ball to right center. Um, Very deep. I think it's more over the center fielder. Um, but and this is early in the season, we're going to struggle with this. There's no doubt about it. But it's something that we have to keep working on, which is our pause, and react. Um, it's harder to see on this screen because it's not a great recording. But our base umpire, there's no read here. He has enough time to have read that this is a trouble ball. And remember, how we read a trouble ball and how we read a trouble ball quickly is that we look at the outfielders and we see how they're running, and that tells us whether or not it's trouble. So one thing I'm trying out right now is with my outfielder. If he's well, one, if he takes off backwards, it's trouble. We're going out because it's possibly a boundary call. And I think here he does do that. But one thing I'm trying out reading is look at his chest. If he puts his chest, if his chest remains up, then he's looking up at the ball and he doesn't feel like he needs to full on sprint. Whereas if he puts his chest down, then he knows he needs to sprint for this ball. It's probably trouble. We don't read that here, and it's a skill we need to build because it can be important, especially when we get diving inside of catches or boundary calls. So let's really work on building that habit, especially for the high school level. Um, Now, this is going to be a problem, a consistent one, if you haven't already noticed. Our plate umpire takes his mask off with his right hand. I would discourage everyone from doing that. We want to keep our right hand open so that we can sell a catch. We're not holding a mask up. If we need to award bases, it's just more natural to point with our right hand without a mask in it. Sure, plenty of reasons I'm missing on top of that too, even. So our base umpire does a good job coming in. He pivots, sees the touch at first. I personally do like the pivot mechanic. I do not want to hear at least one person's comments on it in the comments about it. If you don't like it, that's fine. If you can't physically do it, you do you. Um, for our plate umpire, though, if we're when we have this, we need to read our partner. If our partner comes in, we know it's our catch, no catch. I want to see us getting out from behind the plate and moving up direction of the ball and getting an angle around the pitcher so that you can see the potential catch, no catch. And then if you do have a catch, no catch, then we need to signal it properly. And this is not a signal. I don't really know what it is, but it's definitely not in our mechanics manual here. Um, so yeah, let's just give it's a no catch. Just give the safe mechanic. So runner on second. So let's talk about this play. Whose catch no catch is this? And I will let you all guess real quick. But it's actually fairly simple in a crew two, right? This is a ball hit that's taking the right fielder towards center field. This is the base umpire's call, trouble or routine. There's no question about that. Um, our plate umpire here is giving signals on this when he shouldn't, and this can lead to confusion. It's just a sign that we aren't paying attention to our responsibilities. We need to know what our partners are looking at on the field so that we know where we can look to pick up for the crew, especially when it's a two umpire crew versus a four umpire crew. Um, this is just not focusing and not paying attention to our responsibilities. For our base umpire, so order of responsibilities, right? We got fair, foul, catch, no catch, everything else. Catch, no catch comes before tag ups, and it comes before possible plays at third. Now, if this is a routine ball, because we start in the C position, if it's a routine ball to the right fielder that we think is going to be a can of corn catch, then we can stay more in this area. We probably move over to the cutout more of the grass so that we're trying to line up that we can see the tag up of second and the catch so we can try to see them both out of our vision. But when it's trouble, it's different. When it's trouble, that first responsibility here is to the catch, no catch. And since it's our responsibility as base umpire, then we do want to try to get up all the way to this edge if possible to see that. We want to gain distance and distance and angle for the catch, no catch in the outfield. Yes, it then might require you to turn and sprint back to third, but it's important. We need to get that catch, no catch first. And like as you see here, still more often than not, if they don't catch it, um, they're not coming up making a throw to third. So there's the maybe we're gonna have a play at third base, but we definitely just had a catch no catch in the outfield that we want to be on. Um, so this needs to be the base umpire all the way for our plate umpires because I'm gonna keep hounding on it early here in the season. Get back to the point of the plate. Okay, first and third. So let's talk about this play. First and third, and the ball does not get out of the infield. We do not rotate if the ball does not get out of the infield, period. That never happens in a crew of two, doesn't happen in a crew of three, doesn't happen in a crew of four. We don't rotate with the ball staying in the infield. Um, especially especially with a runner in scoring position as we have here. Um, so ball's hit, takes the third baseman to his left. Our base umpire does a good job here. Um, step up. It's kind of one of the things they teach you in pro school and at the professional level is like your first step should be forwards if possible. That creates more of a throwing lane behind you. But he does a good job of feeling that my fielder has to come is coming behind me on this. So he turns, stays chest to ball, and lets this ball go across him and turn him to the play at first. And look at how great this one. This is a great call. So I think the ball hits his glove right here, and I think his foot is off. Um, that's a great call. And it's so much more sellable because he's standing. Look how close he is to this. He has a great view of it. He's right on top of it. This is the best angle he's going to be able to get in a crew of two. He can sell this call. Um, I think it's a great job, and it really shows to all of us. Like, let's look where he starts and where he finishes. You don't. There's not so much sprinting back and forth that needs to happen when we're in the middle. Um, does a great job here with that. And then, you do have to be you do have to be aware of like, oh, this play can come back into third here. Um, but he's gonna have good hustle. And like, yeah, we're not gonna be right on top of it, but they're more than welcome to try to hire three or four of us. Of course, then we don't have three or four umpires available, so that excuse doesn't fully work anymore. But you get my point. For our plate umpire, um, don't wander, right? Like, stay point of the plate. Um, and this is going to grow into more of an issue later on in the video, but you'll see his positioning here. Come on, Mac thing, go away. He's really deep from the catcher, and also this one's not as bad, but at times he gets like right over the catcher and he puts himself in danger. While also, I think he struggles on the lower part of the zone from this positioning. But at least here, all he needs to do is just take a step back. As this play develops, and we have to remember this now more than ever with the double first base. Uh, we need to be able to help our partner with pulled foot, but also did the runner stay in the runner's lane? Did he hit the right base? All of that. Get that mask off, open up your field of view, and come back to the point of the plate so that you can see all of that and you can see the touch here. But now I'm worried that he's letting these two get in the way of that view when there's no benefit to being here versus here. And then definitely resist. There's no reason to go up to third on this. Stay at the point of the plate. Your partner in the base gear is going to be faster anyways, and you you got to let them work. Okay. First and third again. So runner stealing. For our base umpire here, I want you feeling that, okay, this play is not going to happen at second, but there's a decent chance he's going to try to go first to third on this. Go ahead and get over to this side here to be in between second and third for this. You'll need to see the touch of second by that runner, but just start heading that way. For our plate umpire, we've got to be looking for the ball up against that wall. First of all, it can bounce off one side and come to the other, and suddenly you're in the throwing lane to the plate. And also, that ball can get lodged, stuck, um, whatever. It can go out of play behind you, and we have responsibility for all balls in and out of play as the plate umpire here. So look for that ball, find the ball. That's our priority here. And then, like, this throw, speaking of throwing lanes, like, this throw is we are in the throwing lane. Thankfully, he gets that throw up, but we are in the throwing lane on that, and we do not want to be there. For our base umpire here, also, good job. This is your only runner on base, your only responsibility. So if you can take him all the way to the cutout third, that's perfect work. So good hustle, good movement on that. All right. Here's a great example of just like where this plate work was getting. First of all, we have a left-handed batter, so we need to inverse our left foot and our right foot. Our right foot has to be forward. Our left foot right behind the catcher, our right foot forward attacking the slot. Um, Attacking the slot is a big thing. It makes such a huge difference for our ability to see low and outside pitches. And I think this is part of why he was really struggling with that in this game. Just too far back, looking directly over the catcher. And you'll even see, he's now working on the outside shoulder of the catcher, which is one, it's a great way to find yourself calling your last game thanks to concussions. And again, just fundamentally, we're going to struggle seeing pitches because we're right over top of the catcher. And that leads to things like this, right? It leads to those flinches. Um, I find if I'm flinching, it's either I'm not locking in right or I'm not getting in the right position as the plate umpire. And like the flinches struggled here, right? So that's how you can work around that. Feel those flinches, um, and then say to yourself, okay, what am I not doing here? What do I need to do to cut out the flinches, to better track the ball in, and to be in the right position to call balls and strikes? So, runners on first and third. Sorry, runner on third base only. Runner on third base only. Um, that ball's hit to right center. There's no ifs, ands, ors, or buts. This is the base umpire's call, period, end of story. We cannot have our plate umpire signaling on this. That is not understanding our responsibilities in a crew too. For our plate umpire, um, come back here. This is a great example of one where we're going to be trying to line up the tag and the catch. And to do that, to get that angle, we want to end up back here. We can get as far away as we need to be able to see the touch of third and the catch. And the best part is we know very well that this ball is not getting thrown home for a play at the plate. So we don't even have to necessarily be close enough to make it to perfect positioning for a play at the plate because that's not going to happen. We want to get to a position to line those two up to make sure that runner doesn't leave early. That should bring us back way back over here, down by the W and the H. Um, get back to open up that field of view because your partner is the one that will be significantly closer than you to see this play. For our base umpire, I'd like to have seen you taken off faster. Remember shading the side of the field that the ball is on. Um, Turn around. Once you see my center fielder and right fielder running together, you know you've got nothing at third. Get across the working area up here to see what could potentially be a trouble ball catch no catch, especially considering you have no other responsibilities on this play. Another great example of set up like directly over the catcher and then moving as the pitch comes in, um, kind of flinching when like we need to be still through the entire delivery of that pitch. Um, oh, I don't know if that pitch was strike three from this angle, but I know he thought it was strike three for a half second. Um, I think we all see that, right? That right foot. So that's good timing, and timing is going to be thrown off here when we're feeling like we're not in the best position to see pitches. Well, when I know we're not in the best position to see pitches, um, because he's probably looking through the back of the catcher's head on that, and that's because he's so far back. He's so far back. He's not in the slot, not attacking it. Really attack the slot, and that will help your visibility. That'll help your timing, and that's how we end up seeing things like this. I mean, that is so far back. Um, just it's just bad positioning. And then ball hits glove. Yeah, I think I'm going to say that's fast. Again, same footwork issues. This one was a good read by our base umpire, right? So we turn, see, and you can kind of assume with low line drives, odds are it's not going to result in a trouble catch because if it's low and quick, they're just not going to have time to build up the speed and then effectively slide or dive for the ball. And more often than not, they're trying to, at a minimum, block it down so that it doesn't turn into a multiple base hit. So good job at the bat. Take a quick look. Um, See, yeah, that's probably down coming on in. For our or for our plate umpire, uh, I don't know if you can be much faster than that realistically, but certainly with no runners on base, once it's hit, try to get up and come direction of the ball. I'm fine with the fair foul, but let's get the mask off. Let's really build that habit of that mask comes off quick, especially when we need to see something downfield. Just a nice pickoff move. That's a big distance. I that's just crazy. R1 only. So it's a little hard to see on this. Uh, this ball is hit, and our shortstop fields it. So our shortstop gets it. Our base umpire does a good job. He's in the right position right there. If he was going to have a double play, he's right where he needs to be. He's not getting sucked over for nothing when his plays are going to be at second. And as he can probably tell, most likely is going to first base. Um, so great job. Steps up, lets the ball turn him. Um, Try to be just, I'd say this is probably like the last step he should have gotten. Um, it's fine. It's good hustle though. Again, he's in a good spot to sell this call, and it's a close play. I think again we have a pulled foot, um, and you know I can't tell from here if that runner touches the right base. I'm not convinced he does actually. I think he might touch only the white base. Um, but that's got to be our plate umpire has to see that. And again, this ball stayed in the infield. We're just wandering. This ball stays in the infield. We need to work our way. Well, actually, sorry. This ball stays in the infield. It's point of the plate for the base umpire. Point of the plate. Or sorry, for the plate umpire. You could make the error. Actually, I'll take that back. Less than 2 outs from the plate. You can move your way up to see a play at second on this to help with that legal slide. And this is going to create an issue for us in crew of two with the double first base on the front end and back end of a double play is that I want to see him working his way into this area to see that slide at second, but at the same time, we want him to see the runner's lane and the touch of the correct base at first. I don't know how realistic either of those are going to be for us this year in a crew of two. It's great when you're in the NCAA and those big conferences working with four umpires. We do not have that luxury. So this will continue to be a learning point of umpiring for us this year. But certainly, I think that the solution is going to be one of two things this year. It's going to be either working our way up here for the front end, or possibly working our way more over this way, um, to try probably to see more of the back end. Um, it's certainly not working our way up to third base. We never have a play on this runner at third base, period. Yes, our partner has worked his way over, um, but that's the nature of the game. That's why I wanted him to stop, that one step shorter. But that's certainly why he doesn't get all the way over here. It's because he knows he has to bounce back if that play develops. But this is definitely not our plate umpire going up there. Okay, that's the same play. Again, positioning. So this is and this I was pushing myself and I would push the crew at all times to get as a plate umpire, our goal should be to try to get just outside of the dirt circle at home. And that's not just to like false hustle. That's so that we're focused in on this play at first, and that again, that becomes even more important when you're at a field like this that has the double first base. My other question would be, we do we do not need a fair foul decision on this. If it takes the third baseman towards second, everyone knows it's a fair ball. Um, it's not recognized. The problem here is that we're not recognizing where we're most needed as the plate umpire as this play is going to develop. We don't need you pointing the obvious fair ball. We need you getting up and out and towards first to help out with the double first base. And we're going to have to get our helmet off to do that. Get our mask off so that we can open up our view. So again, I just don't think we're seeing the pitch as well. Might be a strike, but and I personally think this is too much turning his head out to the side. Um, as I don't know that he actually sees that the ball is not caught. I This is why they teach at the pro level, keep your eyes forward, keep your head facing the pitcher. Um, you'll see the MLB guys, some of them do it out to the side, although you'll note their timing is even slower than this, and that's because they've already confirmed he caught it, we have it out, and then they do their out to the side looking away because they already know it's over, versus what we get here. Runner on first. Oh, sorry. At least now the footwork's starting to get a little turned the other way. Still very deep. Still too far over. So whereas we didn't have the fair foul decision on the one that took the left fielder or the third baseman to second, this one from his original position takes him to the line, and we don't have a fair foul. Um, Got to be building those reaction speeds as a plate umpire, and this just we have to work on where am I going? Ball off the bat. Where do I go? Fair foul is our first responsibility. Easy enough. We have to be on the line, mask off. And this is the catch, no catch of the plate umpire. That's correct, but we need that fair foul first. And if we're making a fair foul decision, we want to be on the line. So good job with the no catch there. Um, but we need to get again out from behind the plate, gain distance or direction, especially with this being a trouble ball like it is. We need to be trying to get out there to be able to sell this call. Um, Again, just very deep. Good job by our base umpire here. He's stealing. We hear he's stealing. We're drop stepping, couple crossover steps. We don't turn our head though until the ball is coming. We know it's thrown to second and it's clearing us. So good job staying with this play. So I say all the time, let's get on the line for fair foul. That's what they teach you. There is the realisticness of that ball's pretty fast. You may not get on the line for that one. And frankly, sometimes, yeah, we want to get that mask off. There will be ones that are super fast, super quick. And if you went to take your mask from here to here, you're going to be looking at your chin pads at the time that you need to see whether or not that ball is fair or foul. It's just going to happen. Um, let's pop to the line to point it and sell it at this point. But we're kind of just stuck as a crew with whatever's going to, yeah. If they feel strongly about it, they can get another guy to be there. Uh, that said, once we make that signal, we see the touch of third, and now he does still have responsibility for a trouble ball over here, for a ball that could possibly be leaving the field of play, getting lodged. That is the plate umpire's responsibility. So, with that in mind, maybe popping out this way, but we can kind of give some flexibility to the fact that he is wandering up this way versus at the point of the plate. Especially, again, it's hard to tell on this camera angle, but these high school fields, they have washouts, they have things that can get stuck down there. It's not terrible to be wandering out this way, to be able to see that, get the mask off to see that, and then, dear God, do not point at home plate. We will continue to harp on that throughout the season. Do not point at home plate just because the runner touches it. That's just not a thing. Um, and certainly once you see the ball coming back in, then get back to the point of the plate so we can see the whole field. Mound visit. Just keep with the mound visit video I put out there. That's fine. Um, Again, deep, super deep. Timing's fast on that, but it might have just been such an obvious ball. Weren't too worried about it. Um, so this is a good pitch that we can see. Um, that's yeah. I don't usually want you in the comments telling me about umpire's judgment or anything. I don't need that. Let me know if you do think though, was this a high school strike? It could be either way. My It looks like it's pretty chalky, but either way, my question is going to be: is from this position, is our plate umpire seeing that from his position because he's lower than this camera angle relative to the catcher's head? Is he seeing that? And again, I just think this is such an example of like this is just bad plate positioning to see things like that. Okay, also not strike three. Let me know if you thought it was a strike though. That's another one of the head flinches. Um, Especially like if that pitch, like for me, I know like if that pitch makes me flinch on that, I'm just not in the right spot. See again, moving with the pitch. Um, ball hit the left. We know whose coverage that is. Get that mask off. Go the direction. And then, if we're going to give a safe signal for no catch, you don't necessarily, for no catch, you don't need to like shake it forward. If you want to sell that it was not caught, what you need to do is just hold your outstretched arms for a longer period so that more people see it. But this doesn't signal that. It's the out front motion or the I'm sorry, the out to the side. So this is a fun one for a couple of reasons. Um, so we got the bunt. I'd like to see again, helmet off, get on the line. Our base umpire, I think he's fine. Yeah, good, little slow, but yeah, get over there, cross like he's doing. Um, Now the fun question is, do we have runner's lane interference on this play? We have a foot in fair, we have a foot in fair territory, we have a foot on the line, foot in foul, foot in foul, foot in foul, and a hit of the safety base. And this throw is just it's bad. It's not a good throw. Um, what I've asked a couple of opinions on it. I think the ones I've liked the most were probably the that's nothing calls. Um, this is going to be tough. I know the NFHS interpretation that came out a couple of years ago in GHSA, we just ignored it because it is not a great interpretation in our opinion, or in the GHSA opinion, not my opinion, GHSA. Uh, but you could call runners lane interference here. Um, with the double first base, I'm certainly less lenient with the runners. Like, dude, you've got a bag in foul territory that you need to run to. Like, figure it out. Um, I don't know. This is going to be the fun of this season. That's the same play. So again, like just I know it's a bad pitch, but we wouldn't feel such a need to flinch if we weren't directly over the catcher. And then two, yeah, this time he does look back, and that's good. First question here, do we have batter's interference? I think no, so we clear that. Now note though, at the high school level, the rule is different from college and pro. If on his backswing, right there, he were to hit the catcher, that would be interference for an out. That is not the case at the other levels, and if it just does not differentiate backswing and follow through interference. Or sorry, it does, but this would be interference if they make contact on follow through. So, uh, go back here. Okay. Uh, a lot to talk about here. So we know we've got two strikes, obviously. Um, check swing as the plate umpire on a check swing that you think could be appealed. One that like you're like they'd probably ask about that. If the ball is uncaught, especially if it gets to the backstop like that with two strikes, immediately come up to your partner because you put both teams at a disadvantage if you don't. So immediately here, he can come ahead and point to his partner. Now, we're going to harp on it all season because it continues to cause issues for our base umpires. If you're going to point down to your partner, point with your left hand. Thankfully, he's late enough here that that's not really the issue. Um, point with your left hand. But like right now, you've technically only called a ball, and the batter just ran to first. So as you can imagine, it's it it it's just ugly. And then like if you're gonna ask at this point, like at this point, also at this point, the defense is saying the defense should be saying, no, don't check down to your partner on that. We don't want him at first base. Don't don't get the check swing. Like it just needs to that's why this needs to be quick. It needs to be just quick that you go down to your partner. Um, I don't know. If I'm the base guy, I don't know. If there's not three balls, I might be coming up here with the ball or no, he didn't go. Just because like it's just not a great look, right? Like, um, yes, that's partially on the play made by the players, but and then obviously we don't need to call time to ask about a check swing. Early in the season, we're still warming up. It's okay. Again, turn for all our catchers out there. This is a harder one to do is those but what I'd like to see is that ball, and again, he's ducking, I'd probably be ducking too, but maybe see if we can get more into the slot and lower and we won't feel as exposed to this pitch. But I mean, and as you can see, he's moving before the ball's at the catcher's glove. Anyways, here, let that catcher exit you to your left. That should be your first priority. Let him get around you. So if the ball's to your left, open up with that left foot, let him cross in front. Ball's to the right, open with the right foot, let him cross in front. Um, but then even after that, and especially because if anything, we want to try to probably get to that third baseline extended for this play at the plate if there's going to be one. But also, again, we have to see the ball here. Um, we have to see the ball. We have to know where if it gets lodged or stuck. We also need to know where the catcher's throwing it because this catcher came up here. If right now he throws this ball to third base and it hits that on deck batter, or I'm sorry, hits our batter 14 on its way to third, our plate umpire doesn't have a clue what happened. And yet that's part of the play. Versus if he had let this open up and come down here, he'd see this, he'd see this, he'd see this, he'd be able to see the ball over here. I don't have a problem with where our third base umpire ends up here because this is one that uh, they make the least likely play, and suddenly he's running that runner back and into third. Um, so good job. Um, For our plate guy, though, uh, just like we talked about in our plays of the plate video, um, and again, moving before that ball like hits the bat. Um, but this urge to go first base line, third base side needs to go away. We need to be getting to the third base line extended here, especially with the ball coming from that angle from the first baseman. This play at the plate is almost always going to develop this way. It's going to be on the catcher's hip, catcher in fair territory, on the fair territory side of the third base, and a swipe tag. And this is just entirely out of position to see that play. Again, that's the positioning, and then we don't need to point to we don't need to point to first um, for ball four because one, it looks like you're calling a strike, and two, they know where first is. Most of them know where first is. There are some of them that don't know where first is. Um, this level, hopefully not, but you never know. Again, point of the plate for our plate umpire, period. For our base umpire, we can be more proactive on this once we see, well, first of all, once that ball clears us, like right here, we know, okay, if this ball stays in the infield, it's almost certainly going to be a play at first base. So I'm probably going to want to start heading that way. If the ball gets through, I also know, okay, my runner from second is scoring on this play. There might be a play at the plate, but he's headed home. I need to get to my one responsibility, which is the batter runner now. So if he does that, he might end up over here at this time. And when you think about that, like, because now he has to open because he's in the throwing lane. Um, well, now that if you can barely see it on this, more in the lollipop lane than the throwing lane. I digress. But so if he had been in this position, he's getting a great angle for this play right here, um, into second. I still think he does a good job hustling and moving though. And I think that's why he's able to get this call correct. It's just if we'd been shading our only runner at that point, he might have liked that angle even better. Um, can't really see the ball, but this is a great example of you don't need to see the ball to know whether or not this is trouble or routine and who's got it. You just need to see the fielders. This takes the right fielder to the line. Base umpires, this is always going to be you. Go ahead and start getting up that line, get your mask off. Even with, I'm guessing this is two outs because it looks like our runner's going on contact. Um, even with two outs, though, get up here for that fair foul because that fair foul decision is more important than the touch of third, the touch of home. See that fair foul, then adjust back to the point of the plate. And of course, as I said, always say, let's get our mask off for that. So he calls a balk here. So our pitcher's looking in, still looking. Yeah, I think I agree with that. Looks like he starts coming set and then doesn't. Yeah, he definitely does. He's because he's looking like this. His shoulders come back. Yeah, that's a good call. Especially considering he doesn't really do anything like that any other time. That big arm motion. So this one, kind of similar here. Again, positioning. But again, kind of similar. Balls hit to right. Right fielder falls. 2 outs. For our base umpire, go ahead and shade that side. For our plate umpire, point of the plate. That's just a really runner on first, 2 outs. We do have a rotation here, at least the possibility of a rotation. That would take our plate umpire up to third for a play on R1 at third. That means we need to be on our horse if we're going to try to make that. Uh, I would have liked to have seen at least a couple steps that way before deciding we're not going to make it or there's not going to be play and we're coming home. If we don't get that, um, we have converging fielders, not necessarily a like super trouble ball, but we have converging fielders. Um, doesn't matter though. This is the responsibility of our base umpire no matter what. And we get the out signal from our plate umpire. So just not not knowing our coverage responsibilities. Okay, I'm gonna say I don't need any opinions on this one from the comments, but I think this is definitely a ball. But again, it's our positioning that's really hurting us on this, especially because like if we look at where that catcher's catching this from where he's set up, because where he is now, he can't see where the catcher sets his glove. I like to at least have an idea where he sets his glove and have an idea like, okay, well, if his glove goes out to the right more than like 2 inches, he's definitely out of the zone. No, I didn't say necessarily not over the plate. Sometimes we'll go a little outside the zone, but certainly, you know, we're getting far outside, and I just don't think we're seeing it well. I think we're not probably not able to see it all the way into the glove. Again, that's why we got to see that ball, right? Because we're like right in the throwing lane, and I know this field has some weird dugouts on it that are very close. We need to see whether or not that ball's going in there, and if this one takes a weirder angle because our catcher does exit to our right. Um, but let him clear you, and then again get to that third baseline extended if there's going to be a play at the plate, and certainly don't be in the way of a potential throw. Again, watch that throwing lane, right? That's right in that throwing lane. Kind of a fun one with second and third, less than 2 outs, because we have a double tag here. Um, ends up not being caught, um, which, plate umpire, good job getting that mask off. Just come out. I'd still say come out more on this one. I can't fully see how obvious it was getting down, so I could be wrong. That said, if I am wrong, then point of the plate. Right here's just a great example of, again, you can shade the side of the field that the ball's on as the base umpire. You don't need to too much, assuming it's going to be a double. I don't really know why the coaches help. Well, bases loaded again. And I think that's a 15 after 3 ball game. So, um, look, this video, there's things we need to work on from it. There's things for all of us to work on, right? The point of the plate thing is going to continue to be big for us. Um, knowing our catch no catch responsibilities. Um, you don't know where a crew is in their development as umpires, so we can't sit here and uh, don't be negative on them. When I do these reviews, I try to be very thorough with them, and part of that is because I don't get to watch all our crews enough. Just bandwidth of there were 13 games recorded tonight, and I can't watch 26 hours of film every day for several reasons. I will let you guess why. Uh, but so I try to give them all these notes here so they know what they need to work on throughout the season. And that is a positive gift for them to know that. And the goal is to see that, next time we get around to seeing them, did they fix those things? And don't worry, there will always be more. There's always more at my games that I know I'm working on each day when I go out there. So stay positive. It's still good work for the crew. We're still early in the season too. We're breaking out the rust. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Keep kicking butt, and goodbye from Racine. See ya.